Good afternoon and welcome to the Pan Am Museum Foundation May 2026 Noontime Spotlight. I'm George Fleckenstein, the director of the Pan Am Museum. I'd like to thank the AV students from the Five Towns College for their help in live streaming this presentation onto our Pan Am Museum Foundation YouTube channel. I'd also like to thank my associate Maria Higson and board chair Linda Freire for their help with this program, How Pan Am Advertised the World. When we think of American World Airways, we tend to think about airplanes, global routes, and the glamour of flight. But Pan Am did something far more powerful. Pan Am didn't just connect the world, Pan Am taught people how to imagine it. And that may be its most lasting legacy. Because at a time when most Americans could not travel internationally, Pan Am made the world feel real, vivid, and within reach. Today, I'd like to explore how they did that through advertising. Let's go back to the 1940s and early 50s. International travel wasn't just expensive, it was not something most Americans experienced. It was rare. For many, it wasn't even realistic. It simply wasn't part of life. So how did people see the world? They experienced it through images, through movies and magazines, through advertising. Magazines like Life and the Saturday Evening Post, these weren't just ads, they were windows into another world. Pan Am became the lens through which people imagined distant places and became one of the most powerful storytellers in the world. They understood something fundamental. If people couldn't yet travel, they still could dream. And those dreams could be shaped. Pan Am's early advertising was extraordinary. They worked with leading artists and agencies to create some of the most visually striking travel advertising of the 20th century. Bold colors, elegant typography, idealized scenes. These weren't literal descriptions, these were flawless visions. Brighter, more elegant, more inviting than reality. They made you feel what it would be like to be there. And that was intentional, because these weren't just ads. They didn't just tell you where you could go. They were invitations. They didn't say, "Here is Paris." They said, "This is how Paris will feel." The golden age of travel, roughly the 1940s through the 1960s, but equally important, it was the old golden age of advertising. Something major changed during that period. Advertising shifted away from explaining products, like this ad, to now creating a desire for them. The ads used emotion, storytelling, and aspiration. Pan Am's ads didn't just say buy a ticket. Advertising agencies like J. Walter Thompson and Wells Rich Green were at the forefront of this transformation. They weren't only selling airline tickets, they were selling identity, aspiration, and a way of life. The advertisement said, "This is who you can become." And Pan Am became a perfect canvas for that idea. Today, we can just see how extensive that effort was. The Pan Am Advertising Archive includes over 6,600 print advertisements created primarily between 1949 and 1969. These ads appeared in magazines and newspapers all over the world in multiple languages. This wasn't just American advertising, this was global storytelling. And what they show us is something remarkable. Not just the history of one airline, but the evolution of global marketing over 5 decades. At the center of all this was Pan Am's founder, Juan Trippe. Trippe had a vision that sounds simple, but was incredibly ambitious. He wanted to shrink the world. He believed air travel should not be limited to the wealthy, as it was in the 1920s and the 1930s and 40s. It should be available to everyday people. Air travel should not be a luxury, he said. It should be a utility. It should be available, something available to ordinary people. He then made that happen in 3 ways. First, he pioneered long-distance routes, linking continents across oceans, from the Clipper flying boats first to South America, then Asia, and on to Africa and Europe, to the first round-the-world airline service in 1947. One trip connected continents. Second, he introduced tourist-class lower fares in 1948, making travel more affordable. This was very controversial at the time. Other airlines thought it would destroy the industry. Tripp correctly believed the opposite. Lower prices equal more passengers. He said it's not only a new service, it's a new type of passenger. It was expanding the market and letting everyone in. And third, he embraced major technological leaps, what he called one fell swoop moments. Tripp believed in moments when technology suddenly changed everything. Faster aircraft, longer range, bigger capacity. Moments when the world seemed to shrink overnight. By the time he retired in 1968, millions more people could travel internationally. And Pan Am's advertising reflected that shift perfectly. If you look closely, a few core themes appear in the Pan Am advertising again and again. Luxury and glamour, fine dining, elegant cabins, white glove service, flying as an experience. Innovation, the transition from propeller planes to jets like the 707 and later the 747 with speed and technology. And also exotic destinations, vivid imagery, designed to spark curiosity and wanderlust. And importantly, these ads sold not just travel, they sold possibility. This is when advertising became psychology. The Mad Men era changed everything. The Mad Men was a term in the late 1950s for the new creative advertising agencies who worked on Madison Avenue in New York City and revolutionized the advertising world. The agencies stopped selling products and started selling dreams. They used emotional triggers, selling the good life, coolness, everyone's traveling, don't be left behind, the excitement of the jet age, emotional triggers. They used storytelling, catchy titles, using irony, humor, desire, self-indulgence, emotional reward. They created masterpieces of professional persuasion through storytelling and identity, targeting specific segments, the modern housewife, the elite business traveler, the growing suburban middle class. Identity. Wells Rich Green focused on entertainment and desire. Mary Wells was the first female CEO of a company on the New York Stock Exchange. Wells Rich Green was a cornerstone of this creative revolution, and they participated by selling the experience and using cinematic flair. Iconic desire campaigns like I Love New York and the memorable Alka-Seltzer Plop Plop Fizz Fizz ad, which doubled Alka-Seltzer's profits. J. Walter Thompson focused on research and strategy. They turned advertising into a calculated science using market data for the first time, making products symbols of status and identity, encouraging customers to buy not based on necessity, but purchase based on newness, self-indulgence, emotional reward. Like one of their successful campaigns, "A diamond is forever." Together, they shaped modern advertising, and Pan Am benefited from both approaches. The design itself told a story. Early ads featured hand-painted illustrations, rich, artistic, detailed. Later, photography took over, but the style remained clean and modern. Font and typeset became simpler, sleek, global, confident. Everything worked together to create a consistent message that said, "This is the future of travel." As aviation changed, so did the advertising. Early ads sold dreams. Jet age ads highlighted access. In the late 1950s, with the arrival of the jet aircraft, travel transformed almost overnight. Suddenly the message shifted. Pan Am's advertising began emphasizing speed, being modern, and global access. It wasn't someday anymore, it was now. The ads told people, "You can go and we'll get you there." The world is not distant anymore. It's now reachable. Campaigns like "The world's most experienced airline" and Pan Am makes the going great weren't just slogans. They built trust in the Pan Am brand. In the 1970s, Hank Severson, a former Disney animator, brought a completely different energy. His illustrations were playful and relatable. He brought humor and humanity into Pan Am advertising. He showed ordinary people stepping out of their daily routines and into a world of travel. His characters escaped the office. They left routine behind. They stepped into travel. He made the messages simple. Travel isn't just for elites, it's for you. It made travel feel not just glamorous, but accessible for all. Now step back and consider this. For many Americans, the first image of another country came from a Pan Am ad they saw in a magazine. That's very powerful. These ads didn't just promote destinations, they shaped perception. They helped define the golden age of travel, an era when flying meant elegance, discovery, possibility. So when we look at all of this together, Pan Am didn't just transport people, it transformed perception. It took the unknown and made it familiar. It took the distant and made it desirable. It took the world and made it feel smaller. Pan Am didn't just fly to the world, it advertised the world. And in doing so, it brought that world closer to all of us. Thank you for joining us.